Today is October 29th, 2023. Okay, yesterday outside my clients in North Canton, some guy is out there yelling. They found a tape of them mocking me. Okay? Well, kids outside that were playing before that. Well, we all know it was a medication error that made her sick. Okay? They sold the login. Kids even have it. They have watched this like Naked and Afraid reality show. And it's real life murders and attempted murders and rapes. It's sick. Okay, now I want you to think about this. And then I told you on Friday. Let me take that back. Yeah, it was Friday. I went down to my son's and I bought him Chinese food. So I went down to Mass and I was talking as I walked in. I drove in. Then I let my video run in the car calling that Lisa psycho bitch. Okay? And I left it in the car and I went in the Chinese place that wasn't done where I picked up my son and his family food and to have dinner with them. People were walking out of restaurants laughing. The investigators that were working the case were told to stay out of it, that some king and his men were taking care of this. And they found out it was a fentanyl king. Can you imagine? They've been listening to it. And she called the girl that did it a psycho bitch. And they're laughing. Some guy pulled in and said, none of this is funny. All these people can hear her. Well, yeah, honey, they sold the lock in the first month. They announced at Walmart went nationwide. And see, that's where it makes me mad when any officer acts stupid because they all know they sold it. Because up in Akron, when I started working, officers in Akron were knocking on the door. We don't want you to say anything to her. And they thought it was the FBI agent John that they made fun of. Now, last night, they were driving by screaming stuff. I couldn't sleep. And I worked 70 hours. Now, this video, I want you to put it down. And I'd like to know where that guy did that shooting in another state and killed a bunch of people. They had the behavior analysis go over like him snapping and stuff. They're trained as investigators to look at people this way. And if you pull the recorded line, that agent actually said he talked to the Vegas before he talked to me. He actually says it. When he does, you either say you were faking you were sick. He actually says, I talked to them, and do you know how much grief you've caused them? It's like I really was sick. It's a documented medication error. What makes you swell up like a balloon and everything quit working? The wrong meds. You're dying from basically like almost allergic reaction. A severe one. I want you to think of that. Or medication your body don't need. And it's killing you. It's like you take an insulin when you're normal. It'll put you into a hypoglycemic coma, and then when you come out of it, you'll be like if your pancreas works right. See what I mean? You don't need something. And they give it to you. It's going to make you sick. Okay? Now we're going to put it this way. Why didn't he look at them like the psychos they are harming somebody? In February or March of 19 in the mall, they called him a paid-off dirty agent. Before I could write a bestseller on what happened, I would call it Karen's Prayers. A paid-off dirty agent, a man trying to kill his wife and men being shot at running. It'd be a bestseller. Well, you try putting human traffickers, a fentanyl king from Iraq, pulling all the drug lords here, and human trafficking and serial killing people in that uncalled bottom. It's a big case. Big case. So and they got a guy impersonating a prince from Africa, embezzling money out of him, was trying to get people to watch me, act like he was taking up money. And they got him too. It was a big nationwide human trafficking scam. Now, the cartel paid off a sheriff in Ohio to let people be killed. Took $100,000. Men walked by my apartment. I redid where I was sick, where I got well. The money disappearing, the attempts on my life, leading all the way up to the FBI, and where those men mocked me and were horrible, and then opened the case and then left me up there. And that I even Googled the office they said they were at, and I found them. And then the police department's working the case. 2 guys walked by my apartment where they were screaming. He said, I've been trying to keep people away from her. She's been mocking them. I heard they've been threatening her life again. He said, yeah. He said, those men did acknowledge they talked to him online, on that recorded line. He said, yes. He said, are they stealing her money? He said, yes. It's called embezzlement, withholding and misdirecting money. That's why they did it. They probably paid them like the sheriff off each. Because why would cops talk to a rape victim that's being scammed like drunken cats on a bar stool? See, yesterday I was thinking, for God's sakes, I hope it was an act. And they did it just to go after the drug dealers. But then it comes down to victims first. You can go after the bad guys later. Victims first. You know, yesterday out on in North Canton, even my client had a TV show. Some officers went to a judge, said, we got all this evidence. We got this guy nailed for murder. He said, how'd you get it? He said, we went in his house. He said, you didn't have a court order. He said, not one thing, from physical to anything that you've seen in that house, can ever be used. Nor can I ever look at it, and you knew better. That is a severe 4th, 5th, 6th, and you can even say 14th Amendment violation. You knew better in being in that man's home. No one can break anybody's rights, and you knew that. Now you have to, he said, it's not that I don't want him off the street, but there is rights you cannot break. See, that's where my friend from the prosecutor's office, it's a severe 4th Amendment violation, where they set up the button cameras, stalking you, where they said they photoshopped a shower scene to make you look weird, where you had the signs of being drugged, being raped, and people weren't putting it together what was happening to you, and you were so sick. They probably did, and you didn't talk to anybody. They probably did drug you up and tell you to say something stupid, but they made the biggest mistake they did at your house. Nobody can look at it. And they announced they looked at some sexual predator's tapes and mocked me that my ex-husband said he hired on his own to frame me. And they didn't arrest him, and they made fun of a rape victim that was being scammed and how she was being scammed. Okay? On a recorded line. They acknowledged they talked to Dave by mocking me by some guy named Pete. I still have never talked to him. Like they said up in Akron, the construction workers have been yelling stuff. Don't say a word to her. She has never met the man that actually did this to her. Then how do you do it? We don't know, but everything's photoshopped, and she's never met him. Okay. All right, now we're going to put it this way. And I want you to think of Ron and Lisa's mentality of a spoiled 3-year-old. Whee! Just think of it like that. Whee! Spoiled 3-year-old. We were hurting inside 15 years before. We actually started trying to kill her a year ago. So it was 14 years before. We were hurting inside, and our minister said she was faking when we were hurting. So we waited, and then we hired those men to drug, beat, and rape her because it was 14 years ago, and we were still mad. Wee! Think of that. Our minister said it. And it was 14 years ago. We've had a couple we had those men to come drug, beat, and rape her and try to kill her because our minister said she was faking when we were hurting 14, 15 years ago. Spoiled 3-year-old. A spoiled 3-year-old. Did she have anything to do with the death? No.
Our minister said she was faking. So we had her drugged, beaten, raped, and almost murdered 15 years ago. We were hurting, and it affected us bad, so we waited, and we decided to kill her.
Spoiled 3-year-olds. Psychotic break. How could you look at them but nothing but insane? Nothing but insane. The mentality of it, and the mentality of how sick those agents talk to me. Somebody needs to arrest their dumbasses. They have stole over $300,000 from my case. And if they took a payoff like the sheriff in Ohio to let the cartel pay them off $100,000, that means they have committed treason, and they were in it with the Iraqi, the fentanyl king, hiring, bringing all the cartels to human traffic. Lisa confessed a week ago today to those couple in Kohl's that the guy said, I went to Lisa, was she getting well for a while before she got all the way well, and said yes. And nobody thought anything of it when she finally got well. Okay? But Strain said, it was like November. It was after Halloween. I got well in July. It took me from November to July to get well. He said it in November after my sister was following his son, Tim, because that's her husband. He was having an adulterous affair, and she was following him and Katie. And she got caught. She came up to me and said, I got caught following him. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry, be careful. Well, he made up that lie 4 days later in November. And where these people had slowly watched me get well over 9 months. After I had all those surgeries, went to the wrong doctors, a bunch of crackpots, almost killed me. Swelled up from my feet to my brain. My heart's off. My thyroid quit working. My adrenal gland quit working. I'm swelled up like a balloon, and even my brain's swelling. And I'm dying from medical malpractice. And the doctors finally tell me what exactly is happening to get off those meds. And I got with a doctor with high doses of pain medicine and slowly got up moving. And over 9 months, the swelling left and everything started working by the grace of God. It took me 9 months of pulling myself around as the swelling left. And everything started working. Now, I suffered horribly. And just because her father did an arrogant stunt, him running that stop sign into a semi would be no difference than him running a blinking railroad, light and try to beat a train. There is no difference. It was dangerous, stupid, and arrogant, and he killed himself and his son in front of people he didn't try to stop. That's an oh my God, that it, like one guy yelled out, that idiot is the one that killed that kid. How dare that family say a word to her. I've had people, even she's had to work her ass off. Everybody knows it's a medication error that made me sick. It's a document. 2002. Now, yeah, I want you to think about that. Somebody just comes up and says something to you. Now, you've watched this person. They even said, Karen, you're going to beat it on your own in April. I didn't get well till July. Her dad does that shitty stuff the first week of May. I don't get well till July all the way. And then I still fall for 2 more months. Now, I want you to think about that. In November, he makes that up. Because I was thinking it's October, but I got to thinking it was after Halloween. It was in November. Made up that shit-ass lie. Discredit me, get rid of me real quick. Now, I want you to think of the couple. We went to Lisa. Was she getting well before she got all the way well? Yes, for a while. Nobody thought anything when she actually got well. Till Strange said it, and then they all believed it. So they hired people to drug, beat, and rape her, cause her divorce from Dave, and made sure she got nothing. And they knew the people they had hired to do all those things to her. They were killing other people here that they hired. They brought the human traffickers here to Ohio. They hired the fentanyl king, for we were for the king from Texas. He's a drug lord. Oh, he was like the biggest one in the United States. They got him. And please, for God's sakes, tell me one of the cops in the area did their job and had him tailed. And it wasn't me sending out emails to the sheriffs and marshals out of this area saying, if you want human traffickers, basically, I got an open case that you can pull and use. You got them dead to rights on police surveillance, saying it. Because that's like my friend that I went out to eat with January 20th, 23. I got a friend on the police department. They knew about the case that agent opened with you, and they knew about the Texas group. The Kingsman. Is that what they called themselves? See what I mean? He was 2.5 hours away. Now, we're going to talk. I want you to look at Ron and Lisa like insane 3-year-olds of, wee! They said, strange said that she was faking. So they had her men hired to drug, beat, and rape her, cause her a divorce. To make sure and do all those things to her. They actually tried to kill me too. Several times. By the grace of God. That she'd get nothing. And they knew the people they hired were killing other people here. They knew they were killing other people. You better stay out of this. I know. I want you to think about that. Why didn't they look at them as insane bastards and get me the hell out of here? I talked to a sheriff out of this area. You should have been hit the first day, and they all should have went to jail. How could anybody not look at them like, how dare you touch this person that had nothing to do with that death? Nothing. And you waited 14 years because somebody said something? You can't just touch her. No matter what. If you pull the recorded line of that agent talking to me, I told you you'll have him for badgering, obstruction, tampering with witnesses, acknowledge he's been in contact. He actually says he was in contact with the Vegas. How much hurt and pain I caused him. I didn't cause him anything. Strange lied to him, and their 3-year-old spoiled babies wanting people to feel sorry for him. And manipulating people for a lie because their minister said it. Even though, Karen, you're going to beat it on your own. I beat it 3 months later. So they're just manipulating you people to get away with murder. That's where those guys walked by my part. I've been listening to some of this. He said, she's been mocking him. Yeah, you want to act like a fucking retarded 3-year-old baby that you have to have somebody drug, beat, and rape because somebody lied to you? Are you insane? There's no damn excuse for that. They human trafficked me. They hired human traffickers to human traffic me. Why weren't they arrested? See, this whole thing as a victim, I look at like, where on earth is the law? Where's the law? They have openly done these crimes. Like they said, those investigators in Massillon, they were told to stay out at some key and his men were running it. And they found out it was a fentanyl king. They all been listening to an Iraqi terrorist not to do their jobs. Well, I think it's about time somebody does their damn jobs. Huh? Illegal monitoring 7 years. Selling videos of somebody naked on porn sites is 3 to 16. You drug somebody, kidnapping, human trafficking. They had life in federal. The victim's not in trouble for being drugged up and told to say it. And photoshopping a washing scene and stalking tapes by sexual predators. Scamming a victim in her own home. Huh? Everybody turn Ron and Lisa in. They're not funny, and they've cost thousands of deaths. They toasted. I went out for a date this last summer. They ruined my date. They don't believe in alcohol. I met this guy at a winery. I got tea, and I forget what else to eat. Okay? They come in, and they're staring at me. A big guy comes, sits in between me and them. And he's mumbling, trust me, nobody finds any of this funny. and they got alcoholic drinks, and then looked at me and walked out. They toasted. People were talking clear into North Canton. We all seen those idiots toast. They got away with this. They've got away with murder and human trafficking. And can anybody feel sorry for them because somebody just made something up on somebody 20 years ago now? 20 years ago. So they had them drug, beat, and raped and made sure that they lost everything and almost murdered because someone lied to them. You can't feel sorry for psycho bitches. And people acting like spoiled 3-year-olds of, we feel sorry for us. We feel sorry for us. Seriously. We have to hurt her because our minister lied to us. How could they even listen to that shit? And not arrest them and then put them in a psych ward? I'm gonna upload this.